What's up, guys? It's Max Merck here, and today I have the 2020 Toyota Corolla SE. And before we begin, I'd like to extend a big thanks and shout out to Jim Coleman Toyota, located in Bethesda, Maryland, for providing the car in this video. And if you guys are interested in a brand new Corolla or any other new or used Toyota, be sure to check them out. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how impressed I am by the 2020 Corolla for a number of reasons, such as styling, technology, and performance. Biggest thing for me really is the styling of the new Corolla. I think Toyota has gone to great lengths to really make this car appeal to not just everyone, but to, younger people as well. The Toyota Corolla has kind of for the longest time had this kind of stigma about it, about being a car for everyone, and it's kind of been a boring car in the past. But I can really confidently say with this new 2020 model, I am very impressed by how it looks. First of all, you can see that it gets a brand new headlight design. I mean, the whole car is redesigned from the ground up. But the whole front fascia is kind of following Toyota's new design language, with the big grille, and this car being an SE, it's kind of got some sporty accents to it. So when you look up front, you can kind of see that it's not just gloss black up here, it's kind of like a super dark metallic gray. You can really see it with this white car, just the two-toning, the contrast with the white and this dark gray, it really gives the car an aggressive look. And then as we walk to the side of the car, you can see the wheels and tires for this car, the SE. When I first saw this car, what really blew me away was how low profile the tires are for this car. I mean, we've all seen low profile tires, but on a Toyota Corolla brand new from the factory, I think that's really cool, and it really it looks good on this car. Once again, you kind of have that dark kind of metallic gray finish coupled with the kind of bright aluminum look right here. And then once again, stylistically, you can see that they've placed the side mirrors onto the door itself as opposed to right here on the A-pillar. And I think design stylistically, that looks a lot better and a lot more sporty. Next up, on the side skirt of the car, you can see that it's once again kind of following along with that two-tone theme that comes with the SE. It's once again the dark metallic gray, and it extends out a little bit, so it really does kind of make the car look quite a bit lower than it is, and give it a little bit more of a sporty look once again. Now, coming over to the rear of the car, we can see it's a whole new rear end. I don't know how Toyota's done it, but they've maintained kind of like a simplistic, minimalistic look as with the outgoing model, but they've also made it look a lot better. So I mean, sure, of course they do have kind of this new little diffuser piece down there, and they've got these tips over here. Even with all that, it still does look somewhat minimalistic, and it's clean. There's really not a lot of clutter back here, but when you tie that all that in together, especially with this little deck-lid spoiler, I think it does a really good job of just making this car stand out compared to the competition, but more importantly, it appeals to like I said, the younger people, because a lot of people want kind of a sportier look for their daily driver. Sure, this is a very reliable car, but just because it's a daily driver doesn't mean it has to not look good. That's my philosophy. I know sometimes manufacturers, to kind of give a car a sporty look, they'll just throw parts at it and they'll just do anything to really make it look cooler, and then by then the car just looks too cluttered and too fake. But Toyota's been really minimalistic about all this. I mean, even just looking at the spoiler, you can see that there's a deck lid spoiler on the trunk, but it's not like a crazy, it's not coming up all the way to here, it's none of that stuff. It's just a nice little spoiler that kind of distinguishes it from the base model and kind of gives it a little bit of that sporty touch. And while we're back here, I might as well show you guys the trunk. I'm actually pretty surprised. Like I was saying earlier, it looks like a small car. It really does. I mean, especially when you look at the trunk, there is just such little room in the back when you look at it, and I think that's a good thing. It makes the car look very sporty and nimble. But once again, it's a little deceiving because when you look in the trunk, it goes quite a lot more into the car. It's a lot deeper than what it looks like on the outside. So looking into the interior, you can see that this car kind of has a black cloth seat, but you do get these very nice blue stripes all throughout the interior, and that once again follows with the sporty theme of this car. And I know this is quite overlooked in a lot of cars, but this being the SE model, I'd like to point out the bolsters on this car. Now, don't get me wrong, this is no race car by any means, but as soon as I got in this car, I could feel the bolsters. The side bolsters right here and on the bottom cushion as well, they're a lot more pronounced than you'd think, and that's a good thing. When you're driving around corners, you can really feel it hold you in place more than than if the car were to have less aggressive bolsters. And kind of just along with what I was saying earlier, I just like how that appeals to more enthusiast-minded people, younger customers, while still maintaining like the comfort that really any customer would appreciate. Also, one more thing I forgot to mention is that in this car you have a black headliner. And I personally am a sucker for black headliners. I wouldn't really want a car with any other color headliner. I just love the kind of dark look. To start it up, you can just insert the key right there and start it right up. You saw the gauges do a little needle sweep. I love that. It's those little things that I appreciate that Toyota's done with this car. They've really taken a basic car and they've made it a lot cooler than it should be. You know, when you buy this car, you just want a reliable, you expect a reliable car that's going to get you from A to B, and Toyota didn't have to put those little things, but they put it knowing that it's gonna kind of raise the bar a little bit, kind of set this car apart. And power in this car comes from a 2-liter 4-cylinder mated to this CVT transmission. And I will say, I personally am not the biggest fan of CVTs, but when I say that, I'm the kind of person who's more into performance-oriented driving, and that's kind of where you'd want an 8-speed. But to the vast majority of customers who are going to be buying these Corollas, they have fuel economy more in mind than trying to go fast. Luckily for us, you can get this car in a 6-speed manual, so I'd love to get my hands on one of those. And I think with a proper 6-speed manual, this really will be able to kind of tailor to us enthusiasts as well. And then the automatic CVT is great for kind of the average consumer who has fuel economy in mind. And something that I find a little bit cool, you can't really, I hope you guys can see it right now, but each park, reverse, neutral, and drive is a different color. So park is blue, reverse is red, neutral is green, and drive is blue again. I really don't think Toyota had anything in mind when they did that, or I don't think it means anything at all, but I just think it's kind of quirky how they did that, and I like that. Like I said earlier, kind of like with the needle sweep, it's the little details that they've done that kind of are starting to really set the bar for these smaller segment cars. And then this is your parking brake. It's a button. Also, when you go ahead and put the car in park, it'll automatically engage. I hope you can see that it automatically engaged right there. And when I go ahead and put the car into drive, it'll automatically disengage. That's a nice feature, so you never really have to worry about your parking brake, as it automatically takes care of itself. And then I'm really glad Toyota has started implementing this feature into their cars. This is brake hold, and you activate brake hold by pushing that button. Let's say you're just driving along and I come to a red light, or I'm in stop and go traffic. So the car comes to a stop, these two little lights show up on the dash, and what that means is that I can now take my foot off the brake. So as you can see, my foot is off the brake, both my feet, but the car is still in drive and we're not going anywhere. So this feature is really useful in stop and go traffic or red lights, and to start back up, I just put my foot on the gas and go. But I am really impressed with the creature comforts in this car. I mean, for example, you've got your automatic high beams right there. Your headlights themselves are automatic. And then if you look back here, you can also see your paddle shifters hidden away. Right there you have your downshift on the left, upshift on the right, and I think that's pretty nice to have. I personally haven't really liked Toyota steering wheels that much in the past, but with this new Corolla, I really am a fan of the steering wheel. It is very thick, and you have great 10-2 bolsters right here, and it's just, the material is really soft. I'm used to, in these kind of cars, having very rough, just not great quality steering wheels. A lot of manufacturers overlook that. They give you these rough plastic steering wheels, but the steering wheel is what you're going to be grabbing onto pretty much the entire time while you're driving, so that is the most important thing. And I'm glad that this is kind of a soft touch material. Now, moving on to the infotainment system, you have a bunch of shortcut buttons on the side, which really makes it a lot easier, as opposed to just only using touch. If you want to shortcut to your audio screen, you can do that right here, or your navigation map, or your Bluetooth phone settings right there. Right now there's no phone connected. And of course, with this car you get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, those type of things. So right here, if you go ahead and connect your phone via that USB down there, you can actually access and control your phone using Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Also down here you have your climate controls down here, so it's a single zone climate control, but I'm really happy that they've given us the automatic function. So what you can do is, if you want to, you can go ahead and set the temperature to whatever you want. So if I want it set at 75, I can do that and then push auto, and it'll automatically adjust the fan speed to bring the car to that temperature. And then another nice feature right here is the eco heating and cooling. So if you push that, it'll kind of adjust the way the climate control system works to have gas mileage in mind and utilize the recirculation. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, but I just wanted to show you guys why I really appreciate and why I'm kind of a fan of the new Corolla, especially with the styling and all the features they've given you. For what it is, a small compact car in this segment, I think it really does look very good, and I'm happy with all the little creature comforts and attention to detail that Toyota has put into this car.